Please help support the channel by visiting our Amazon store, affiliate link below. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the MundaneChats channel, and you know, one of my favorite shows in the 90s was Roseanne. It was Roseanne because I believe that it perfectly captured the dysfunctional family in America, the perfect lower middle class dysfunctional family. And it was something that was utterly relatable to not only myself, but to my family, to my friends, and I believe a lot of people, which is one of the reasons why it lasted 9 seasons. I'm sorry. It lasted 8 seasons. Season 9 is crap. Don't watch it, except for the finale. The finale was good, gut-wrenching, but good. And here's the thing. It left on a decent note, and people have always wanted something like it to come back. Other shows have attempted it. Some have captured some of its nuance, but hasn't perfectly been able to recapture the theme of the show or the heart of the show in that regard as well, at least in how they work together. But there's going to be a reboot coming out, and the cast is back, and given how everything else is being rebooted these days, I'm actually excited for this one. Except not everyone is, and apparently the 1 Million Moms organization wants to boycott the Roseanne reboot, and it wants you to do it as well. Let's find out why. Sure, why not? They want to boycott everything else. Anyway, these guys, okay, first, these guys are like PETA. All right, these guys are like any other organization that's like, just boycott it, just boycott everything. Never build anything yourself, just boycott it, because that's gonna work. Anyway, saying here that we're pretty excited for the upcoming Roseanne reboot. We're not alone, but one group isn't excited. The reactionary anti-LGBTQ group 1 Million Moms is calling for a boycott. Okay. The reboot is going to feature Mark, a gender-creative child. Mark will be the child of Roseanne's younger daughter, Darlene, and her husband, David. Okay, so they named Mark... so they named Mark after Mark. Mark, who was Becky's husband, who, unfortunately, the actor killed himself, I believe, in 2001. Mark won't be the first gender-fluid child on TV. Taylor from Billions, played by Asia Kate Dillon, gets that honor. The Roseanne reboot, however, is more of a high-profile one, and 1 Million's Moms has spoken out against Billions, and they haven't spoken out against Billions. In an email from Monica Cole, the director from 1 Million Moms, the group called for a boycott, saying here, "Unfortunately, the age of Roseanne's grandchildren may attract younger viewers, so the victims of this outrageous program are the young cast members, not to mention any child abuse of the show. The sexualization and moral corruption of these children is child exploitation at its worst. No child should be introduced to the experience of mental disorders." Yeah, okay. I see where they're coming from here. I see where they're coming from, but you have to understand what Roseanne is doing. Roseanne in the 90s captured kind of like dysfunctional Americana in the 90s, and it turned it on its ear, and it commented on it through a comedic and satiristic way. This is probably going to be handled with the same, I would hope, the same love and care, and to draw attention to these particular situations. Very similar to Tim Allen's Last Man Standing. Him being a conservative, or at least a libertarian, probably more than a conservative, is a show that dealt a lot with the battling of the left and the right. But it did it in a tongue-in-cheek way where both sides were represented, both sides had their points argued, and both sides eventually came to a discussion in the end, and through comedic ways. It wasn't always the best discussion or an apt resolution, but they still attempted to try it. And Tim Allen himself even said that the show was written and directed and run by liberals, and they like to make fun of themselves. So the question here is, if Tim Allen could do it with Last Man Standing, why can't Roseanne do it with the reboot of her show? It's something I'm more than willing to give the benefit of the doubt to, given its past creative entities, or entries into pop culture, versus just getting mad at something like a reactionary, which is, you know, hard to say in this day and age because everyone tends to get upset and reactionary over something. But with 1 Million Moms, it's kind of just what they do. The article also points out the original series' groundbreaking lesbian kiss as a sign of civilization falling. This will only be the beginning unless we speak up. Consider that the original Roseanne's most controversial move was a kiss between two women, and that's sadly a common scene on network television today. Oh no, lesbians. Clearly a sign of the end times. I mean, it's just... This is why I have trouble taking this kind of group seriously. While there are arguments to be made about the exposure of children to that particular situation involving trans people and whatnot, and those situations, and I most people I talk to, and most people you talk to, probably agree that while they have no issue people being trans or gay or whatever, let children be children. Don't try to force it on them. I went to basically a baby expo yesterday and got into a couple conversations with women there that were like, I have no issue if my child wants to be trans, but in no way, shape, or form am I going to put this on them until they're older. And the same case can be made about, now we're seeing that 12-year-old who decided to transition and hates it, is going back. You have Jazz, the trans star of I Am Jazz on TLC, who underwent hormone therapy, I believe at the age of 7 or so, and now at the age of 16 has altered her body enough to where she is not able to get a sexual reassignment surgery. She has a micropenis that has never developed into full-on sexual organs because of the hormone therapy, and that has stunted her for life in that regard. And so there are aspects of that in terms of pop culture that can be raised as a discussionary point. But is this the place for it? Who knows? We haven't seen it yet. We don't know what angle they're going to take. We don't know what they're going to do. We don't know anything yet. What we do know is that the show is going to be pro-Trump, but they're not talking about that then, are they? Going on to say here, placing gender fluid and non-binary characters in mainstream television shows are the next step in normalizing a culture that disassociates a person's biological gender from their gender identity. We're kind of headed that way anyway. But at the same time, whatever you do in the privacy of your own bedroom, is it really anyone's business, provided you're not hurting anyone or hurting yourself? And in this particular situation, if these people are over the age of 18, who cares? Who cares? Really, it's like I said, when it gets brought to the forefront of pop culture and it's kind of lionized and treated in a way like Jazz was, then you start seeing the side effects of that. But the side effects of that also need to be discussed, because then that could also help kids that want to transition but realize they want to wait for their body to fully form in order before doing that, and then not forcing. There's discussions to be made here, but this boycott, I think, is relatively stupid. DNA proves that female is female and male is male. There is no gray area here and no such thing as gender fluid. Confusing young viewers and cast child members with gender dysphoria is destructive. ABC is glorifying gender dysphoria, also known as gender identity disorder, and using a child to promote this mental disorder. And that's what they're saying there. And it's one of those things where it's like, look, I can see their argument. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt that their argument is coming at it from like a concerned parent perspective, but ultimately it's not. They're pushing their propaganda over what they perceive to be other propaganda. It's very similar to what we saw with the Dump Star Wars hashtag at the tail end of last year, where one idiot was running around saying like, oh no, they put the anti-Trump message in the new Star Wars movie. They never did. They never did. They never did. They never did. And we don't know until we see it. It's not going to boycott it. If anyone is going to go after this and boycott it for the sake of boycotting it, all you're going to do is make the show more popular. More people are going to want to see it. When you become this level of reactionary, all it does is elevate the popularity of that said situation. And look, I'm not going to say that I haven't been a reactionary, that I haven't jumped on the bandwagon of something, feelings over reels. I'm not going to say I've never done that, because that would be hypocritical. I absolutely have. But the idea there is to try to stop yourself when you feel that way and look at it from an objective mindset to see whether or not this is something actually worth getting angry over. And until we see it, we don't know. It's Schrodinger's cat at this point. All we can do now is wait for 2018 and just open the damn box. Hey guys, that wraps up this video. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do so below. I love to read your guys' input. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really does help me in the YouTube algorithm. If you want to support the channel, there's the Amazon affiliate store, there's PayPal, there's Patreon, there's Bitcoin. And if you're bored and you want something else to watch, check out 3 Buck Theater up here. My name is Matt Jarbo. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a wonderful day. Peace out.